Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Friday, December 29th, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action to the Bitcoin price chart, the cryptocurrency market, the altcoin market. Take a look over there at the stock market as it gets set to open in 4 minutes. Take a look over there at the DXY, or the US dollar currency index, along with precious metals, along with taking a look at any financial news or any type of crypto news as the day gets kicked off. Welcome to Friday. Like again, I said December 29th, but this actually is the last trading day for the United States stock market. The stock market is set to open a little bit mixed, really kind of flat. You got the Dow down 23 points, the NASDAQ down 4 points, and the S&P down 3 points, which is all 0.02%, 0.06%, 0.07%, so essentially flat. And we're going to see today if there's going to be any type of wild action that happens in markets as books get closed out for today. So it's the last day to kind of make some entries or to take some profits or do some tax loss harvesting, whatever. This is the last day of the year for the stock market to be able to do that. So we'll see how things go today. Could be a wild ride that happens over there. Looking over here at crypto, obviously we have a green day over here in crypto today. It's crazy that we are here at the end of 2023. As I mentioned in Markets in the Morning yesterday, we're going to kind of go through the newsletter that I had written there on December 30th of 2022, kind of talking about just the outlook of 2023 and kind of what the expectations were. And then we can kind of review how the year did really kind of play out in here. Just to kind of say, things really did follow plan. And, while it seemed like a long year, it actually was anticipated to be kind of like that. But that we would eventually see some upward action, which, of course, as we know, we have seen that, in 2023, the market has been to the upside. 2023 market has been to the upside. Just a lot of PTSD, right? PTSD coming off of 2022. That 2023 ended up being a positive year in here, coming off of the chaos of 2022 that we ended up having. So we'll take a look over here at markets as things are opening up, and then we're going to kind of go through, what 2023 was expected to look like and how it did end up going. And so that'll be kind of the bulk of the content here in the Markets in the Morning today. And I read through this, and it was kind of just like, this is it right here, right? So this was written on December 30th, 2022, welcoming 2023 with open arms, and why 2023's outlook isn't as bad as 2022's was. So we'll go through that today and go through the whole thing. I'm pretty excited to share that just because it was, I don't know, kind of comforting reading what the expectations were and then what we ended up getting. So, all right, here we go. Starting the day off, Bitcoin, $42,800, green throughout the cryptocurrency market, although slight green, nothing crazy happening in here. Looking over here, this thing still, it's just been ranging ever since December 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Ethereum, of course, it has stepped out above the preliminary support of the Wyckoff accumulation. That was a backtest that happened there December 17th, still holding, still trying to shuffle its way out, but no big break happening as of just yet. You're looking over at others. Others has reached a fib level, so it has reached that 382 Fibonacci retracement level right in there. It's kind of been where we've been paused out here for these last couple of days heading into the end of the year. We spent obviously the whole year, the whole last May, we'll say till here too, May to December, so a year and 7 months underneath the 236. Finally shifting our way up to the next one, the 382. That's where it looks like we're going to be ending our year out here for others. Total 2 still just shifting. Dow Jones Industrial Average, again, looks like we're about to open. Well, we have already opened. Dow is up 9 points. S&P is up 1 point. NASDAQ is up 9 points. So again, kind of a flat opening in here. I highly doubt the whole day will be flat, with it being the last trading day of the year. Leaders this morning are going to be NVIDIA, Coinbase, and Meta. Losers this morning are ARK, Amazon, and Google. So ARK did, they sold off their GBTC shares and rotated it into BITO, which is a Bitcoin ETF that's been tradable on the public market. How ironic, right? Oh, we're all excited about an ETF. What does ARK do? They just sell it and go into the ETF that's already been in the market since 2021, the Bitcoin ETF, because we already have a Bitcoin ETF. Yeah, but it's not spot. Okay, moving over there, DXY, a little bit of a bounce happening in here, a little bit of bull support, bull divergent support happening in here on those lows happening on DXY. Gold the other day, I guess we missed it over here. It had the highest daily close ever right there. So it had it there on Wednesday. We had the highest daily close for gold in the history of all time. Again, struggling, it looks like, as we get here till the end of the year. NDXT still trying to get to that all-time high, hasn't quite gotten there yet. The NDXT is the NASDAQ 100 technology sector. This has been a very, where are you, Bitcoin? There you are. Very similar price behavior as with Bitcoin, much closer for where tops came in and bottoms came in, and recoveries and structures happening all throughout here, with the technology sector of the stock market, rather than just the indexes as a whole. But still waiting for this thing to go. It's still just kind of struggling up here at the end of the year. But yeah, all right, looking over there at, we'll get back to that one later. Looking over here at rates, 85% chance of pause, 14.5% chance of rate cut come end of January. Probability still probably all the same. Still 85% probability that we do cut in March, that the Fed does start cutting. So, all right, here we go. This is what I really want to get to. All right, 2023, just kind of recapping what the whole year was. The year was coming off of just the torture and horror of what happened in crypto and in the stock market of 2022. And a lot of fear throughout the whole year, a lot of pessimism throughout the whole year. I think I played like a video 3 different times talking about how we'd be off these lows, and then you'd eventually end up seeing an A, B, C, and then you'd see everybody calling for 12K. I think I played that 3 times. And one of those times it was like, I repeated that over and over again, and then they'll call for 12K, and then they'll call for 12K, they'll call for 12K, which of course we did see, right? But this was the expectation of the whole year. And, I think a lot of people, when prices start moving up, they're just so far behind. I think one of the hardest things in 2021 was recognizing how this was really the peak of the market. This was the peak excitement phase of the market. While we do have a new high get set in here, the peak of euphoria all actually happened back in here. That story was true for Bitcoin as well. All on-chain metrics, all indicators even in here that we use in charts, everything points to the top of the market was here. The alt season was here when Elon Musk goes, but we set a new high, right? And then this is where things got real confusing, because what do we have? We don't have any alt season in here. We don't have any real retrace happening in here. And then you have everybody really still continuing to call for 12K, thinking we're not very deep into a bear market here for Bitcoin, that we're only 1 year in. And then having to really recognize how much further we actually were into it, that we are now almost 3 years into this thing. And that, this peak happens here in April of 2021. That's only 4 months away. Not even 4 months, right? What is that? 3.5 months away from it being 3 years since the real peak of our market actually came in here. And you could look through the altcoins. This is the day XRP peaks. This is a whole area where 90% of the altcoin market does peak out right in here in this, right? So this is laserized diamond hands, Wall Street bets, all the craziness, all the fun and euphoria happens in here. This is just kind of a quiet market happening in here, similar to like, oh, okay, we don't have Binance. Okay, I'll show it again later in the thing we're going to read. but that this is a really quiet phase of the market that actually ends up happening in here, that we end up getting this peak and rollover and all that stuff. So, but having to recognize, late into the game, realizing, peaks. Obviously, we got the top of Bitcoin right. Why didn't an alt season come in? And it was having to recognize, well, wait a minute, it's because we're way deeper into this thing. And so that's the hard thing people have grasped their hands on in 2023, is to recognize how deep into it we are, thinking the peak was here, but the peak is actually way back here. And so just how far into this we've actually been. We're really, really long into this thing. Really long into this thing. And a lot of people really still focusing on this one in particular, but it's not. So in 2023, the expectation was, we've come off the worst of it. The worst of it is done. Now comes the complexities of the market, in which we typically do reverse our way back up, but we can have a lot of chop to happen in there. But that the gloom and doom time period is completely done. And so I want to go through that and talk about that, because we took a lot of flack the whole year, right? How much trash talking was there all year long? Content creators saying we're going to 12K, pinning against me, all that stuff, saying this is not the case, we're going lower. And even all the way till October that we're going lower, right? And then, of course, I deem the term spicy, but it's because I've had this mindset the whole time. And you're going to see this written here in 2022, that the expectation was that there would still be that type of behavior. And that I'm talking about how, like, not falling for that trap, not following for the emotional crowd that's going to be screaming for lower. So let's go through this really quick. I just want to review 2023. 2023 has been a good year. I want to look at the outlook of it and show you that we actually have played along to what the expectation of 2023 really was. So this will take us probably a little bit longer than 16 minutes to go through this, but I think it's pretty important. So if you're just hanging out at work, you're probably totally checked out. It's your last day. You just got in. Your boss is looking at you. You're sitting at your computer doing your accountant work. But you know what? You're not going to be doing it, because you're going to be listening to me chat right now. But you can look at the screen here occasionally. But I really want to go through this and just talk about what the expectations of 2023 were like and what we ended up getting. And I think 2024, it's not going to be as and we're not going to go into 2024 outlook right now. I'm still working on that, putting all that stuff together. But most of the market participants didn't see what was happening here in 2023, and we remained consistent with it. How many times did you see Wyckoff accumulation fractals and discussions happening here on the channel? You probably got sick of it with how often we talked about it, and that we were bottoming and that the bottom was already in, right? So let's go ahead and go through this thing really quick, and just sit back and enjoy the last day, as you're probably totally checked out for work. You can just kind of fake swing the hammer, like if you're out there on the construction site, just kind of fake swing it. I don't know. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start reading now, guys. Enjoy. Again, this was written on December 30th of 2022. This is coming. The FTX collapse has already happened. The market is here. There you go. December 30th. In many cultures, when a new year begins, it also gives the opportunity to start fresh. In the United States, we have New Year's resolutions, in which we have a chance to make a change in our behavior to break a bad habit we may have. But it also gives the opportunity to let go of resentments or things bothering us in our lives, in order to give ourselves a hard reset and move forward with a positive attitude, and not let the negative things that have been holding us down continue to do so, but to say goodbye to them and start fresh. What's funny about markets is that they too can behave in that manner. 2022 has been nothing but a downward clown show for the cryptocurrency market the entire year. One could argue that about the stock market as well. But it's nothing new that it can do this for an entire year. Looking back to Bitcoin's historical performance, we now have 3 years where it was like this, spaced 4 years apart from each other, where we have nothing but down. The question is, can we look to a fresh new start for 2023? Is there reason for hope, optimism, letting go of the baggage holding us down from the rough year that 2022 was? I think this is a great opportunity to review what it was like in 2021 as we were heading into 2022 and the challenges we were facing and how we are heading into 2023 right now. Are things the same or different? I think we should start with some screenshots of some of the important charts as we finish 2021 and compare them to now as we wrap up 2022 and prepare for 2023. Since I primarily discuss cryptocurrency, I think Bitcoin is a logical place to begin. Looking to December 31st of 2021, Bitcoin was hovering around $47,000. There was still a plethora of hope that Bitcoin was going to set a new all-time high from there. Right in here. All right, this is how we ended 2021. However, in December of 2021, I was not seeing that level of optimism that most were with Bitcoin. I actually thought we had just begun our bear market for Bitcoin, as I had posted on Twitter and was discussing about on my YouTube channel. On December 4th of 2021, overnight, Bitcoin fell to $42,000, a 39% fall from November 10th. For me, that says the Bitcoin bear market has reared its ugly head. Historically, the altcoin market has its run during the retrace. That's now my focus, but I do believe the Bitcoin bear market has arrived. There's no question, no altcoin season arrived in 2022. That's a big ouch. But the comment section of that post, which you can see is insane, with 800 plus replies, maybe the most replies I've ever had on a post before, had a plethora of disagreement that many believed we would still see new highs. 800 replies. Never before. We also noticed in 2021 that Bitcoin was following a bear market structure and behavior like it had done in 2018. So you can see. If you subscribe to this newsletter, then I could put a 99.99% probability that you also follow me on Twitter or YouTube. So this is rehashing things you've already seen. But I think it's important to go back in time here. 2022 has been so brutal. It's hard to remember what we were thinking heading into the year. It was so mixed at the time with retail investor sentiment. So many people thinking Bitcoin would break out into new highs and cross $100,000. But that as we were preparing for this new year, 2022, it really didn't seem that way for Bitcoin. So we're talking about here, we wrapped up 2021. Lots of people still looking for 100K. It just didn't seem that was going to be the case for Bitcoin. And eventually, we got what the Bitcoin price chart was telling us at the end of 2021 as we now wrap up 2022. Again, I think it's important to remember that 2022 has been so rough. But as we finished 2021, the market was telling us that was what was coming. But we should look well beyond just crypto and Bitcoin to see what the market was saying at the end of 2021 and why optimism was still there and YOLO behavior was still rampant. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was finishing the year at all-time highs in 2021. Then it immediately U-turned as the new year began. As we wrap up 2022 and after experiencing the stark difference it was from 2021, sometimes we can get caught up in the moment-to-moment action of markets rather than taking a bigger perspective look. As 2022 began, many expected a continuation of what we saw in 2021, with insane money printing, the continuation of Wall Street bets, short squeezes, that Bitcoin would continue its rampage to $100,000 and beyond. However, we were met with an entirely different year. Expectations were of crazy upward action to continue, but instead a reversal happened, sending markets plummeting. And the wrath of 2022 never really stopped throughout the year. Even in crypto, we never saw any type of respectable bounce happen in the market, but just continued falling. When we started the year, treasury yields were still near historical lows. Starting in 2022, 0.37% yield for a one-year bond, one-year bill. Now, as we went through 2022, they are the highest we've seen in 15 years, getting all the way up to 4.71 as we wrapped up 2022. When we started 2022, the US dollar currency index, or the DXY, was in an upward trajectory. it was still extremely debatable on whether it was just a temporary retrace, but was in an upward movement. Then it just kept going. So what do we take away from all this? What were we seeing at the end of 2021? Bitcoin was flashing a bear market had already begun. The US dollar currency index, while still within retrace levels, had already U-turned off the bottom lows set in mid 2021. And treasury yields, while not by much, were off zero, moving upward after staying at zero for nearly 20 months. The trend had changed in all of these. While not by much, the trend had changed. The only one yet to give the game over signal was the stock market, which did just a couple of days into 2022 as a reversal happened on January 5th. The point of all this is to say that there were signs of rough times ahead for markets. We all overanalyze and say, who could have seen Russia and Ukraine? Heck, even the Fed was still not doing rate hikes. But the reversals had already occurred before those events happened. But now we head into 2023 and we look around and say, what are these same things telling us now? It's not necessarily that they will tell us the future, but what do those exact same things show? Well, Bitcoin completed all of it. That fractal that it was following for 2022 is at its completion. This was the bottom. We finished the year at the bottom, where reversals back to the upside have taken place before. The US dollar currency index has done a complete U-turn. The Fed hiking cycle has gotten so high, it has caught up to the 2-year yield and has bypassed the 10-year yield by 0.5%. The most recent rate hike of 0.5%, the first step down from the past four 0.75% rate hikes, and they have signaled smaller ones moving forward in 2023. The biggest story of 2021 and 2022 was inflation. We even saw insanity in commodities such as oil in 2022 continuing their insane trajectory from 2021, which have since reversed. All of these things would be considered good heading into 2023, I would guess. We started 2022 with a terrifying forecast for Bitcoin. It played out. The DXY was in an upward trajectory. It continued all year. Rates came off their lows at the end of 2021 and never quit in 2022, skyrocketing. Commodities continued their insanity from 2021 into 2022. But we've seen Bitcoin complete the structure that was noticed. We've seen a reversal in the DXY. We've seen commodities flip downward as inflation starts to cool. All of these things are positive for a more stable environment moving forward. The only thing that is not giving us a clear picture would be the stock market, as the Dow Jones completed a 702 retracement and is yet to be able to do anything meaningful since then except turn slightly down. If you were to ask me, which I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just a person who spends all day, every day researching these charts, but if you were to ask me if these things are good or bad, I'd say mostly good. Seeing commodities reverse off their insanity is good to reduce rate hikes. Seeing the DXY reverse is historically good for the cryptocurrency market. Seeing Bitcoin complete the bear market structure or fractal is great because it was a scary picture for 2022. All of those things are positive. But the stock market is unclear as it is at a retrace level. What adds more complication to the stock market is that Bitcoin historically follows the stock market. And in all of 2022, it did, except right at the end when the FTX black swan hit, which you can see the Dow Jones overlaid over here and Bitcoin's price action moving right along with the stock market and then FTX, right? This adds a nuance to interpreting Bitcoin and the stock market as having 100% correlation, as that moment was polar opposite. So as we head into 2023, things are a little more complex. Now, if I read that, I would think to myself, wait, that doesn't give any insight. More complex? It seems that way, that 2023 will be more complex than 2022. Remember, as we were heading into 2022, we had a whirlwind of things pointing to down. But Bitcoin had just hit a 4.236 Fibonacci extension. I didn't mean to say but there. We had a whirlwind of things pointing to down. Bitcoin had just hit a 4.236 Fibonacci extension and was printing a crumbling structure. We don't have that going into 2023, thank God. But it doesn't mean the year after something like this happens isn't complex. They typically are. 2015 was very complex. 2019 was very complex. And we could argue that the entire topping structure of Bitcoin was more complex than past ones, but at the same time was similar to what we've seen, just drawn out. And that all of this is just this, and that we actually drew 1 year of price action out over 2 years. Which is why we saw peak retail euphoria in the earlier half of 2021 and not in late 2021 or 2022. Even the on-chain data supports this as peak on-chain behavior occurring in the first half of 2021. So we head into 2023 without the gloom and doom aspect as we were heading into 2022. But we still have a complicated road ahead. And complicated roads are typical after gloom and doom time periods. But the picture doesn't scream the same gloom and doom we had for 2022. At least not with the Bitcoin structure, the DXY, yields, and commodities. The complication comes from the stock market, and if it'll range here, and if near perfect correlation will resume for Bitcoin, or if it got broken with the FTX debacle. And I know it's complicated is a thing I would never want to hear, but it's what has happened after every time period like this. If we use 2015 as an example, it ranged for nearly the entire year with a complex Wyckoff accumulation structure before turning up. If we use 2018 as an example, it ranged at the lows before going back into a retracement from April through June, then ranged and crashed back down to the lows. These are the complicated portions of markets after falls happen. We usually don't just get a straight line back up to new all-time highs, but have to spend time at the lows working out hard structures. Even if we assume this was correct and that we did just follow this for the last 2 years, it would indicate consolidating it at these prices for 4 more months before a retrace would begin. Then, if you wanted to get creative and mess around with 2015, something like this is still many months of complex action before a turn up would happen. The point being is that 2023 is not as clear as 2020, 2021, or 2022. And many would think those years weren't clear for Bitcoin. But for me, they all were. When the C19 crash happened, it was all part of the previous supercycle consolidation phase. Right here, all part of the supercycle. When the 2021 bull run happened, again, it was just part of the supercycle phase. When the top hit, it was a 4.236 extension. And then to confirm it, we printed bear market fractals. For Bitcoin, those were all pretty clear signals for hope and optimism for 2020 and 2021 and gloom for 2022. Now, we have neither extreme hope nor extreme gloom and doom, but a settling time period. For me, I'll be looking for a retrace to come in at some point throughout the year. A moment in time of extreme optimism and euphoria, but one that won't last the entire year. Maybe a 3 to 4 month period of extreme excitement and euphoria. They usually start with doubt, being dubbed a sucker's rally, and the euphoria and thought process of we are going to the moon usually happens at the final stages when the top of the move is nearly in. That, of course, is a guess based on a few things and not a guarantee. The time frame won't align for us to get a solid rally this year, but not to be confused with a full-blown bull market. Of course, the height of the fractal rally should be ignored as the height of fractal for the top was inconsistent in 2021, but merely timing and structure. So according to the charts, there are more favorable things heading into 2023 than there were heading into 2022. The DXY turned down. The spread between the federal funds rate and the 2-year yield is tight and exceeding the 10-year yield, which has not been the case during the whole tightening cycle. And the warnings Bitcoin flashed at the end of 2021 have all completed themselves, or at least gotten very close, along with commodity pricing calming down and inflation starting to tame itself as a turn down of the consumer price index has set in, as shown here from investing.com. So 2023, likely some complexity to it, but not the gloom and doom that 2022 had in store for us. We tend to have recency bias, and those who believed in $100,000 Bitcoin likely believe in more gloom and doom. But when we just stick to the Bitcoin chart, it shows the bulk of the move is done. And for that, I'll look forward to 2023, knowing it may be a bumpy road. But the challenge is navigating the path and not so much about the sky falling the whole time as we saw in 2022. The reversal in the DXY, the spread between treasury yields and the federal funds rate, the rollover of the consumer price index, and the completion of the Bitcoin structure and fractal all give me hope for a better 2023. The stock market gives me some concern. That's why it's hard for me to personally be 100% in either direction, but definitely not in the same boat as we were heading into 2022, with Bitcoin having just hit a 4.236 extension in November of 2021, and the bear market fractals in early stages right there in late 2021. So while it may feel like it's been a painful year, which it has been, many factors are different heading into 2023 than they were heading into 2022. We'll track it as it goes, but there are some charts that give much more optimism as we start the new year. And for that, I'll go in with some hope, optimism, and the fresh start to a new year feeling. Here's to a better year. Hope you enjoyed this content. Thank you so much for subscribing to my newsletter. As always, I'm not a financial advisor. It's not investment advice. Contact a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions, because investing is risky and you could lose all of your money. Good luck out there. I hope you enjoyed this issue as we studied the elements heading into 2022 and how they differ from 2023. I'll catch you in the next one. So, I think you could even see in there, like even in here in 2022, it's like, hey, there's a lot of complications on the stock market, right? That's been that whole thing about being back in those retracement levels. Are we going to create a retrace? Are we going to do like we saw with Bitcoin, where you set a new high, right? That's consistent. That's still consistent with how it's been for the last over a year. Being like, hey, the one thing that is a little wishy-washy is that stock market. And that's been a struggle for me for sure. But as you can see, these are all the things. And what did we talk about? Complicated, right? It's complicated is a thing I would never want to hear, but it's what typically happens after every time period like this, that we typically can have ranging, and that it can last for quite a while. And that's what we ended up having. And we talked about it in there. Hey, it'd be like 3 to 4 months of excitement happening. It looks like we're getting that near here at the end, right? We started in October, where the excitement really started to kick in after a year of complicated, no more gloom and doom, right? There's January 1st. The gloom and doom was over. We go into complicated, right? And we tried to navigate that pretty well using Wyckoff accumulation structures and springs. And gosh, you guys saw Wyckoff. Do I have it on here? No. You guys saw Wyckoff way too much, right? We're going to get it. We'll find it. Come on, you. Hello. It's nice to see you again. You guys saw this a whole lot throughout the year. This was just, what we were dealing with. We knew we were in complicated ranging stuff, but looking for reversals to happen in here. And this is just how reversals happen and how the markets behave. And then getting several months of exciting price action. And, that's just how the market played out. The market was terrified the whole time. Lots of screaming for lower, just like we get lots of screaming for higher at the tops. And now we're heading into 2024 with a better scenario than we did at the end of 2022. And 2023 ends up being a much better year. Of course, we all like the years in crypto where we do 1,000% on average, right? More like 100%, 150% seems to be more like the average throughout the market here in 2023. But certainly a much better year there in 2022. It took a complicated year of reversal structures to come into play in here, and it's what we do end up getting. So, it may seem like repeating. You heard a lot of noise. You heard a lot of other people providing a lot of different analysis, giving you gloom and doom calls of what was going to happen. But that's just what happens at lows, right? The crowd is emotional at the lows. These structures, we went through the psychology of all these structures and how large players will manipulate and all that stuff during these phases to get you to get out of it. There you go. So the 2023 played right along to the tune. Now, as we head into 2024, the whole lot, obviously everything has changed, in regards to when the anticipation of Fed funds rate is going to be. We're now heading into an election year. We're going to head into probably rate cuts this year. We're going to head into 4.236 extensions. This year will probably be, I think there's a good shot of a year mixed with a lot of excitement and potentially something crazy, right? The charts, like, show me a chart and I'll tell you the news, right? That's always what the term is used by technical analysts, right? I don't know. Technical analysts? Yeah. Show me a chart and I'll tell you the news. And, one thing is, this particular chart, right? You guys know about the double tap, bull flag, breakout, back test, violent back test, V bottom, right? What had to happen for the violent back test? Catalyst, right? So, what do we all do? We all say, oh, this never would have happened had it not been for the catalyst, right? Or would it have, right? Or would it? Because that's what typically occurs. Is we go back and do that and then V bottom. And so what'll be interesting is to see if we get a catalyst emerge. Something just shows up at the chart where it should. And that's why a lot of people, it's hard. A lot of people ask me, what's your 5-year outlook? It's hard to have a 5-year outlook because surprises will always show up. You can't anticipate a war breaking out, right? You can't anticipate the ever-moving chess pieces that are always happening out there. And like, how many times people give economists such a hard rap, right? Economists can't predict anything. It's because they're using models. Those models don't take into account events, surprises, market surprises, and we tend to have market surprises. And we know that this one occurs, right? We get this breakout happening while the Fed is paused. The Fed starts the cutting cycle and then everything hits the fan. We pause, we break out. Fed starts the cutting cycle, we hit the fan. The Fed pauses, we break out. Now we're anticipating the Fed to start cutting, right? So what's this catalyst? Oh, this never would have happened had there not been so many risky loans written into the market, right? For houses, right? Oh, this never would have happened had we not had, C19. Would it? You're telling me we wouldn't just print a normal structure happening in here? I don't know. So big write up for 2024. But we're definitely heading in, of course, much better than we had in 2022. And then 2023, this is really what we look for. We look for a reversal. However, it'd be complicated and a long process to get through there. So, all right, there you have it. 2023 success in the books, precisely as anticipated. So, there you go. However, a lot of noise along the way, a lot of screaming people. There you go. So, if you're wondering why I was just consistent with it the whole time through, going to get left behind in epic fashion. It's just been that same view the whole time. The same view the whole time. So, okay, let's go ahead and hop into the chat, guys. We are at 38 minutes into this thing. We'll see if we can actually stick to an hour today as we get ready to end the day. How's the stock market doing? Dow up 22 points, NASDAQ up 5, S&P up 3. Right. So today is the last trading day of the year. I'd expect some volatility. These are where books are closed out for the tax year today. Performance is locked in for the year today. Registering those gains, those victories, but also very little tax loss harvesting this year, right? Eric, before the chat even started, before the show even started, had gifted a BCB membership. Brother, thank you very much. I love you. Joseph Bile just learned that the divergence between the DJI and DJT is a reliable signal of a top incoming. We are getting that now. Thought you might find that interesting. Well, how are you comparing those two? The divergence between the two. I'm not sure how you're... Oh, I don't want this. I don't want this. Get you out of here. I want you like this. Okay, so our orange is our Dow Jones. Well, see, the transports set a new high here prior to great financial crisis, whereas the Dow is not. And then in this one, the Dow sets a new all-time high, whereas transports don't. In this one, transports don't set the new all-time high, Dow does. In this one, we've got a new high in Dow Jones, but transports don't. So, I mean, I think, like, I see the consistency, I guess, in these. But, I mean, like, it's hard to know because all that would have to happen here with this. And then that's you know, is that accurate anymore? Right? Because it's more of a hindsight thing, don't you think? Because I don't think you don't get it here, right? You get transports still going higher, whereas Dow doesn't, right? Dow's down, transports new high. Whereas here you have Dow new high, transports down. Dow new high, transports down. Dow high, transports down. Yeah, I don't know. Thank you, Josiah. Miles Pride, BCB, your TAs inspired me to be curious and learn about markets. I genuinely enjoy your content and hope you have a happy new year. You are amazing. Miles, thank you for the kind words, bro. Thank you. And then Miles says, the real top was the frogs that we played along the way. The journey, right? Thanks, bro. Eric Martinson gifted a BCB membership. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, bro. Mr. Q, member for 8 months. Hey, BCB. I know you said you don't see all-time high for Bitcoin, but do you see a new all-time high for XRP? P.S. How is your business? Or are you full-time crypto now? Happy New Year. We have constant worry and concern about XRP. You're just going to have to wait on XRP, guys. Everybody wants a new take on XRP every single day. And like, oh my gosh, is it going to be okay? It's always like this. It's never behaved any differently than the way it's acting right now. And it's one of the ones that fell the least, right? And it's back in April of 2022 pricing. So we have to see the market shift up another level. If the market shifted up another level and XRP didn't go with it, then you'd be a little bit concerned. But you don't have that right now, right? XRP is not lagging behind. Hate it or love it, you guys. You didn't get that bad of a bear for XRP. You may think you did, but you didn't. Over like 90% of the altcoins in the top 100 fell over 90% in 2022 and 2023. XRP only fell 85.5%. So it's in the top 10 of shallowest bear markets for XRP. So when you see things like Solana rallying back, like we showed earlier this week, it's because they got pummeled. And all Solana has done is gotten back to April of 2022, which is where XRP is. So just waiting for a breakout to be able to happen in there. Do you see an all-time high for XRP? I think we talk about it all the time, guys. I think people are just getting emotional. Nothing has changed, guys. If we get back to retracement levels, and if we see Dow Jones hit 4.236 extension, you know the odds go down, right? You get back to retracement levels, you see Dow hit 4.236, the odds go down. Until then, we just wait to see if there's going to be an explosive nonsense rally for 23 days like it did in 2017. And then that marks the end of euphoria. I don't think we're in euphoria. There's too much fear. As for my business, yeah, I shut my business down in after C19. Mr. Q's gifted 5 BCB memberships. Brother, thank you very much. Appreciate it, man. Gerardo Gonzalez, member for 4 months. BCB, you're the only one I've been seeing calling Dow Jones and NASDAQ all-time high while S&P already had reached its full extension. Really are the best. Flip the switch. I don't know if I've necessarily been calling for an all-time high for Dow and for NASDAQ. I've been more concerned about them in general, like on whether or not we were just going to have a retrace. Of course, we've drawn up the scenarios of before, of these things happening, right? Of these styles of distribution, right? Distribution, right? This is exactly how Bitcoin did it. This is exactly how Ethereum has done it. We've talked about this for over a year. You get above the 3.618. But I would not say I've been calling for an all-time high. We just know the 4.236 extension is up there. And just like you could see in my newsletter from December of 2022, lots of mixed feelings on, we're in retracements or do we have the extension to reach it? I think the market's given us the answer, right? Which is an optimistic thing for the market. It gives us some time to try to rally stuff, right? And like I've talked about for the last weeks, hopefully that buys us to around April, right? Historically speaking, we see a rate cut, we see market euphoria, and then it all hits the fan. It's all really bad after that. But we have time. And that's what's cool about this, right? And it's not like it is going to follow this. We don't know. We're just going based on how things have happened for 20-something years, right? And that we actually do kind of get a timetable here. And we don't even know if the Fed is going to follow this, right? If the Fed suddenly does a surprise rate hike in April, or like a surprise rate cut in like February or something, boom, we scoot forward. So we'll see. But man, thank you very much. Frank, I know you talk about XRP all the time. I just want to ask again, do you feel it is still on track with your analysis? Happy holidays. Yes, you guys. It's just boring. Like we talk about it every day. Every day is ranging, guys. Right? We talk about capitulation. We talk about emotions. We talk about it all the time. There's price-based capitulation, time-based capitulation, jealousy-based capitulation. Some of you guys are just getting beaten down with jealousy capitulation. I'm not saying you are, Frank, but we get it every day, and you said you're asking again. It hasn't changed in price, right? And this is a likely place to still go back to. It is still likely to go to 54 cents, right? And it could even wick below that, right? So nothing changes there. This is a long Wyckoff. We've gotten out of Wyckoff. Now we wait for market to give us some euphoria. And I'm telling you, if the price does go one day, many of you, I'm telling you right now, many of you are going to get caught up in a narrative. You're going to get caught up in some kind of news. You're going to get caught up in something that's going to emotionally flip you from this fear and worry and scariness to raging, emotionally drunk highness of never sell, right? It'll happen. It'll happen. Thank you, Frank. Hip Flask, member for 7 months. If the last crypto market cap topped at 3 trillion, what do you think the next crypto market cap will hit? Happy New Year, all the BCB and 702 fam. I'm not really sure. I go through multiple scenarios. It's a very difficult one. And, this is what everybody has to realize. Like, if you can't realize this, okay? This is your last 15 years. If this occurs, we have to throw out all this. all this has to be thrown out, and it's a completely different model, right? We're all dealing with a different market, and we're having to navigate it in that manner. At least on this channel, that's what I'm doing. I'm navigating it in that manner that I know that's coming. That level is coming. Do I know what will happen at that level? No. But do I know what happens frequently at that level? Yeah, S hits the fan a lot when you hit that level. And that's exactly how high the Roaring 20s went. This is unaltered. For all of you who watch this, you know this is unaltered. This is exactly how high the Roaring 20s went before the Great Depression started. We're only 3.5%. And to put that into context, we've risen 482% since the Great Financial Crisis, and we are 3% away from how high we were in the Roaring 20s before the Great Depression happened. 3% away from the 4.236 extension. If this whole market reverses, does anybody in any reasonable state think that they can use Fourier cycle block reward halving theories? If you do, like, you're nuts. I think you're nuts. I think you're crazy. Nuts. Right? And so will there be like excessive euphoric blow off tops in here? Retail, will this be slower? Right? Will this be slower like we saw over in Bitcoin? We get up a little bit higher, kind of pull back, and we go one more push, and this gets drawn out over the course of 3, 4, 5 months, right? That's what we're all watching all at the same time. Could things come really quickly? Could they take several months to play out? Having to take it day by day by day. And to even see if we're going to get rejected by here. If, like, for example, if this goes through and just keeps going, crypto's probably going to obliterately go higher. Obliterately. But if you're not exercising extreme caution and knowing you're walking a little bit into the unknown of what markets have looked like in your lifetime as you get here, it's just like ignoring what happened at the top of Bitcoin. It's just like ignoring the top of 2021. And I see it out there. Like, people are totally ignoring it. Totally ignoring it. And so can I literally predict what the future is going to do? No. I can go based on models and how markets have worked historically. We know that the Dow has gotten to this level before, really struggled. We've seen the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliott wave in here. This would be extended wave 5 peaking out on bearish divergence to hit a peak. We're going to take it day by day. I have models, but of course at the same exact time, I have the same concerns I always have. And people always want to hear new all-time highs. How high are we going to go? Give me the hopium. It's just like what we talked about with the stock market. We get back to the retracement levels. That's where all the difficulty resides, right? And I've taught that the entire time I've had my YouTube channel, that when you get back to retracement levels, that's where S can hit the fan, or you wait for them to break out, right? And so as we get back into those areas for crypto, this is where like defensive plays all happen in here. Defensive worries and concerns all happen in here. If we can get through all of them, then we can start really kind of coming up with stuff. But it does me no good to sit here and say, yeah, I think we're going to a bajillion. When this is the worry. And like, I do find it interesting how many people just like really want me to commit to something else higher when I just always express, like literally for 2 years, the market screamed, we're not going back to retracement levels. I've earned myself wonderful stalkers. I've earned people who, like, I've got one guy who creates hundreds of accounts on Twitter. So he uses my photo on his stuff. And he is on every single post that I have. Doesn't matter if you block him or anything. He makes 10 new accounts a day. I mean, I have full-blown stalkers who we're going down, we're going down, we're going down. And then we get back up, and the whole thing I've said the whole time is get back to the retracement levels. The second we start actually shifting up, and this move finally happens after people screaming at me for a year and a half, is, all right, how high are we going now? It's like, well, wait a minute, dude. You didn't listen to anything I said for 2 years. You thought I was a dummy. Now we go back to retracement levels. This is where all the worry is going to be, right? If we can get through it, fantastic. But let's get there first, and then let's have a reaction there first, right? I mean, that's the big thing. That's the big thing. What comes in here, right? So, fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. But I'm not ready to predict super high prices just yet on indexes until we can prove that we can get through retracement levels. Derek Daniels, happy holidays, brother. This is my first bull run. What has surprised me is how slow and steady this march up is in alts. I pictured God candles. This is how 2021 felt on the way up. Yeah, I mean, you can look at it like this. Right. As you can see, this is below, right? Here you are marching out. This is where you get to the 382 retracement, right? So let's cut that. So we know that's 382. We'll use that one, and then we'll grab another one to be like, hey, here's more beyond it. It was like that. So, it's just kind of crummy. And then retail pours in here, right? So retail sees price discovery, which we know retail isn't here yet, if they are even going to come. We know they're not here because I just conducted a poll yesterday, right? Like, how many of you were here in 2021? 95%, which is enough to take account for trolls who just answer they weren't here, all right? But, right, so where did they pour in? They see a chart. I don't know if this will let me do it. Will it let me do it on this chart? No, it isn't available. They come in when they see that. They do not touch it in here. They're worried in here. Nobody wants to touch it. And the thing that always talks about, who makes the big money? It's these people. These people don't make jack diddly squat who come in here after the all-time high break. They don't make crud, ever. And the hardest part is to get in and buy here. And like still like in, and I don't behave that way. That, people buy the tops and then they say, oh, okay, I'm not going to buy any of this because this market's dead, and they wait for it to go into all-time highs and then they just sell it up in here. Man, I buy all this crap. I buy all this garbage because the percentages are what ends up mattering in here. And so, getting through that, buying all that stuff, that is where you get here. And you got your Bitcoin maxis yelling at you the whole time not to be buying this because Bitcoin is the ultimate superpower money. Michael Saylor. We love Michael Saylor. But the money gets made on that accumulation in there, and the money gets made on these down in here. So yeah, is it behaving any differently at a different velocity, or no? It was trash. It was trash coming out of there. And then it was crazy at the end. So what do you call this? The wall of worry still. And 2021, yeah, like it definitely felt like trash the whole time. It felt like garbage the whole time. Because you had the same stuff. Like I've said, you had the same stuff of people screaming that we were breaking down, and they were doing that in here. So when we had that recent right here with Bitcoin, this thing right here, that was right here. So even being way up here, even this big move here in the altcoin market, they were all screaming we were going down in here. And we move up, there still wasn't that euphoria. It wasn't until it got really exciting that euphoria really started to come in. And so, yeah, the pessimism still way up in here. All that pessimism happening in here. Okay. And happy holidays. Mussy gifted 5 BCB memberships. Mussy, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I think it's the first time I've seen you gift, man. Thank you. Tino, if we do get an alt season, would that mean all-time highs for altcoin market caps? So if they just retrace and stop at April 2022 prices, it wouldn't be an alt season. It depends on what you want to categorize as an alt season. Is plus 1,000% on a Solana considered an alt season? That's up to you. It's in the eye of the beholder. But no, I think of alt season, I think of market cap exceeding. I think of market cap exceeding, but what we learned in 2021 is not all did. So, having the expectation that all will, that's not the market we had in 2021. T, much love BCB. Thank you for everything this year, including all your analysis. Happy New Year, member for 7 months. T, thank you very much, brother. James, Happy New Year's to you and your family. Someday I hope to give you more. You're such an uplifting voice to us. Man, James, don't worry about it, man. Thank you for the very kind words. Do not worry. Do not worry, man. Just being here and hitting the like button. That's it. The like button is the #1 way to support the channel. And shout out to all my people who hit the like button immediately when they start the video. You are the true MVP. 3 Diglets. And shout out to the guys who follow me just to thumbs down in the first minute. You're the real MVP too. YouTube registers that as initial engagement. Keep it up, buddies. All right. Is XRP king of the? I don't know what that means. I don't know. Eric Martinson gifted a BCB membership. Thank you very much, brother. Musey, hey BCB, thoughts on the fundamentals of this token? I don't know what that is. Wait, we're gonna. Dude. Mussy, man, that was your first time gifted memberships, generous super chat. I don't know, bro. I'm not going to do it. I think that was a sneaky way to try to get a rank number 700 altcoin talked about on the channel. Sorry, bro. Not covering it. Caesar Miranda, is there scary times coming? Lots of fear out there. Lots of fear. Frank LeCursey. Oh, I'm jealous. I've just been holding and I listen to you every day. What are you jealous? I'm jealous. I've just been holding and listening to you every day. Talking about the jealousy capitulation. Tino, can you explain how you compare roaring 20s with the current 4.236? Looks like you copied the fractal. Did it reach to 4.236 at that time? No, it didn't reach 4.236. It actually I don't have it. Here we go. It actually extended beyond it in the roaring 20s. You can pull up. It actually extended beyond it. So when I'm grabbing this, all I'm doing is copying it. I'm just putting it here and starting it here at the bottom. And the irony of it, what's just ironic, is it's non-altered. It just so happens to hit the 4.236 extension of our current stuff. So is this a simulation? Is this God? Puppet Masters? I don't know. But all I did is start the Roaring 20s, where the great financial crisis ends, and that's where it goes, unaltered. So from a percentage standpoint, so if we just think of it as in the percentage way, right? How high did the Roaring 20s rise before it collapsed? Right. 503%, right? That's how high it rose before it collapsed. And so how high are we? To get to our 4.236 extension. It just so happens to be that same amount. Thank you, Tino. JTG. BCB, it's my birthday. I asked you about Filecoin and it opened up that box and I learned a lot. My replacement for Filecoin is B. I think it's a good choice. Can you look off stream and get your opinion? No, dude. You guys, what is up with these 700 ranked altcoins that are trying to get in here? No. Sorry. First time BCB viewer. It's not your first time. ACB, I just wanted to ask you something. I just wanted to ask you something that I haven't heard you talk about. Do you think XRP is still on track or do you think something is wrong with it? Guys, he's poking at you. For the people who do it every day, who are like sitting there crying because of Solana. He's getting you. It's not a show, but okay. Well, yeah, man, dude, guys, save your money. If you're going to ask like for rank 700 altcoin, let's look at the market cap, like daily volume. Like, the problem when we ask for something market cap rank 791, we're just so deep down into the pump and dump territory. Like we're not even like in the rank 200 or 300 total market cap of $17 million. We're trying to get that in front of a, we know tens of thousands of views will see this to get something that small. I always will play defense on the channel. Guys, for any in the JTG, maybe it is unintentional, but for anybody out there, if you are throwing your money in the trash can, if you bring it up on, if you donate super chats, and your question is regarding a low cap, micro cap coin. What is your what is your opinion about Microsoft hitting the 4.236 extension target from the 2020 dip? Right. Well, Microsoft is one of my hedge plays, right? So once the Dow gets higher, I'm gonna get more aggressive, right? I've only have a small hedge play on the stock market, and it's with Microsoft and it's with Apple. But I'm gonna load my brokerage account up here pretty soon and go more aggressive. Like with Microsoft, just structurally, it's been, right, these are very similar style tops to just like what we saw with Bitcoin, right? Exceeds the all-time high, pulls all the way back, right? pulls back to the retraces, and then sets one new high, right? Considering that we have a very similar structure to what happens in those types of scenarios, and that we have the Dow already up there. It's why I chose Microsoft. Microsoft is also of the S&P, of the Dow, of the Nasdaq. It's one of the biggest ones in there. Same goes with Apple. So these are the big boys. If those fall, the whole thing is fallen. I'm seeing you guys' super chats come in. All right. Oscar, free Oscar, hit the like. For Oscar, have you been in jail? I haven't seen you in a little while. Thank you, Oscar. Ryan Reese, hey BCB, based on your personal position, do you have a bare minimum XRP price or a market cap you're eyeing before you'd even consider selling? For me, it's all-time highs. All-time highs are bust. That doesn't mean that's the right decision. You should be paying attention to retracement levels. All-time highs are bust. Eric Martinson gifted a BCB membership. Brother, thank you. Steve Sokolowski. Oscar is driving, so this one's for him. Oh, Oscar, you're driving. Mitman. I just want to say thank you to you and this community. Happy New Year. All the delivery and Happy New Year to all delivery people. The peak is over. Congratulations. Man, right? Like when an accountant like hits into March and April, they're all crying. They're like, I hate my life. When a delivery driver gets into October, November, and December, ooh. Ooh. Right? I mean, Amazon, like they even like will deliver stuff between like 4 and 8 a.m. now. But they use like private cars. It's not like a UPS truck showing up or a FedEx, or an Amazon truck showing up. Usually like those private drivers that show up at 4 a.m. I remember you used to get like the notifications and like Ring doorbell and stuff being like, why is somebody at my house with the flashlight on at 4 a.m.? Are they trying to break into my house? And everybody's like, that's Amazon. Huang Nguyen says, thanks BCB for all you do. Could you check on H-bar inflation again? We went through it before. I went through it in the whole thing. It's all in that stuff. What is going on here? What do I have? Okay, there we go. Yeah, give me just a second. We're going to do it. All right, so H-bar inflation over the course of the last year is at a rate of 35.2%, which is exceeding what, for those who know, that's exceeding what should be. However, you can see there's actually a change in inflation rate, very clear, right? You can see that the trend, the velocity rate has changed. This should be ignored. This is an API issue. Again, this is one of these things where you kind of look at it like that. That you can see that just in the last what's 6 months? June, right? Late June. It helps if you go the correct direction. And just the last 6 months, the inflation rate has been 4%. Extrapolate that out to 12 months, right? Puts you at about no, do it like this. There you go. Put us out to late June, an 8% inflation rate, right? So their inflation rate has dropped. Thank you, Huang Nguyen. Michael Hinkle, have you checked out DOT chart recently? Looks like it's in the sign of strength coming out of accumulation. Thoughts? Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I do own DOT as well. I have a healthy stack of DOT. But yeah, I think it's a good take. XRP Bullish gifted a BCB membership. Brother, thank you very much. Oscar did as well. And then this is where the funny ones were coming in. Spags says, hey, BCB, can you check out HBAR? It's super low market cap, rank number 900,000. Followed by Kevin Smith, who says, can you take a look at a Blobby McTubbins coin, please? I think it's about to explode. Market cap is 0. Mark Allaire, keep bouncing between you and Credible Crypto. I don't know who is right, and it's not okay. Well, me and Credit both have the exact same thoughts for the last year. We're going up, while everybody else has been waffling all over the place, right? The only difference is, on do we get through retracement levels or not? Both have the same thoughts. We're going to go up while everybody else is screaming like whining little babies. The only difference is do we get through retracements or not get through them? Oscar Hernandez gifted 5 BCB memberships. Brother, thank you so much. I'll thank you, Oscar. I love you, man. All right, guys, there we go. 1 hour and 15 minutes, a slight improvement from what we have been doing. And it is now the end of the year. This concludes 2023. It's over. The gig is up. 5 Vibe says, so what's the problem with Filecoin? Filecoin, from a development standpoint, I can't remember what they are. Maybe like 16th or 17th ranked. The big problem with Filecoin is their inflation rate. It's out of control. Has been for a very long time and still remains that way. So what happens if you buy something and the inflation rate is high? You are like really dependent on that going up quickly, because if it doesn't go up quickly, you're going to get it eroded due to more coins entering the market. Eric T and Sick Thinker, guys, thank you very much. I'll hooking up people in the chat. One more frog? I don't have it all set up to do it. Let me see if I can get one more frog. This is normally a hard no from me, right? Okay, hold on. I got to turn my desktop audio off so you guys can't hear it. Okay. This might be possible. I might be able to do this. All right, I think we can. It's going to cost 1,000 likes, though, guys. Otherwise, what are we doing here? We're all just wasting each other's time. 907 likes on a Friday, the last day of the year. So, all right, there we go. We'll take one more quick peek here. How's the stock market doing? It's slipping into the reds a little bit, right? Looks like the Dow's up 2 points, Nasdaq's down 47, S&P's down 6 points. Metals taking a little bit of a turn to the south side. Looks like silver's even doing a little bit better than it was, though. Who are the winners today? United Health, Microsoft, and GE. Losers are Coinbase. Ooh, Coinbase, $12 to the downside. $12. Dang you. Hold those 180s till 2024, please. All right, we're at 957. We're almost there. Then Gator gifted 5. Eric gifted 1. 962. while we're doing that, I'll go through these things. And guys, of course, as you wrap up 2023, do yourself a favor and enjoy more content from me over here on bcbacker.com. 40 videos, 11 hours of content at your fingertips. Enjoy it while all your friends are out partying and having a really great time on New Year's Eve and risking getting into car accidents and all that stuff with all those drunk drivers. You could be at home saying, I'm preparing for 2024 like a boss, enjoying some BCB content. Of course, check out the newsletter, blockchainbacker.substack.com, where all of your wildest dreams of more content from me will come true. Of course, we've spent the last several months diving into the altcoins and crafting portfolios and studying 2021. There's all those questions out there. Will everything go? Will it new all-time highs? Understanding 2021 is vitally important. By not doing it, it's on you, right? The best places to go look are that development data over there in Sentiment and Electric Capital's developer report. That's where you are going to do yourself the biggest service you can. When people are asking me about, hey, how do you think about rank number 720 and rank 791 coins? They're playing the pump and dump game. They're not playing the long game. They're playing the quick extract as much money from some suckers as possible game. But all right, 994. There it is. Everybody, happy Friday. 2023, goodbye. 2023, you are a good year. Always important to remain in a state of gratitude in life. Always, man. I'm grateful we made it through another year here on the Blockchain Backer YouTube channel. We have now done 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023 in the books here on the channel, guys. And eternally grateful for that. Eternally grateful that we've had a positive year here in this market. So rock on. I'll leave you guys with the frog. It was kind of our 2023 motto. It's Wednesday. All right, guys.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my
All right, that's it. That's a wrap for 2023, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. Eric, thank you, brother. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Sick Thinker, too. You guys are going nuts. Okay, I'm like missing all these gifted memberships in here. You guys are killing it. All right, we're starting over. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.